Alright, we're going to go over systems of equations by elimination. The first thing that we need to know what an inverse is. An inverse is a number and its opposite. So positive 2 and negative 2 are inverses because it's the same number and one's positive and one's negative. So these are our steps for elimination. The first thing we need to do is look for inverses in either x or y. If there's no inverse, make an inverse by multiplying the entire equation by a number. We need to subtract the equations, solve for a variable, plug that solution into the equation to get the other variable, and then put our solution as an ordered pair. So we're going to do 3 examples. Example 1 is 3x plus 3y equals 0, and I have negative 2x minus 3y equals negative 15. And we can see here that 3x and negative 2x are not inverses because this is 3 and that's 2. We have positive 3y and negative 3y. These indeed are inverses because this is positive 3 and this is negative 3. So this is where my variables are going to cancel. So now we look at what we have left. 3x minus 2x is 1x. And then 0 minus 15 is negative 15. If you divide by, positive 1, and that gives me x equals negative 15. Now this is telling me that x is negative 15. So we need to choose one of these equations. It doesn't matter which. Let's say we choose negative 2x minus 3y equals negative 15. We are going to substitute the x in this equation with negative 15 because we know x is negative 15. So we're going to replace this here. So I have negative 2 times negative 15, and I'm bringing everything else down. Minus 3y equals negative 15. Negative 2 times negative 15 is 30. Minus 3y equals negative 15. We want to subtract 30 on both sides. That gives me negative 3y equals negative 45. Negative 3y is multiplication, so we're dividing both sides by negative 3, and I have y equals 15. And I have my x and my y, so I can write it as an ordered pair, x comma y, which is negative 15 comma 15. Alright, example 2. Let's say I have negative 8x plus 5y equals negative 21. And I have negative 16x minus 3y equals negative 29. So this time negative 8x and negative 16x are not opposite, so they're not inverses. 5y and negative 3y are not inverses. So I need to make an inverse. I look that I can just multiply this equation by negative 2 in order to make negative 8 and negative 16 cancel. So we're going to distribute this negative 2 to everything inside to each part of the equation. Negative 2 times negative 8x is 16x. Negative 2 times positive 5y is negative 10y. And then negative 2 times negative 21 is positive 42. And I'm just going to rewrite my other equation. Now we see 16x and negative 16x cancel. Negative 10y and negative 3y is negative 13y equals, and 42 minus 29 is 13. Divide both sides by negative 13. And I have y equals negative 1. We know y is negative 1, so we're going to choose an equation. Let's say I choose negative 8x plus 5y equals negative 21. And we're going to replace negative 1, this time with y, because we know y is negative 1. So that gives me negative 8x plus 5 times negative 1 equals negative 21. 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. Add 5 to both sides. That leaves me with negative 8x equals negative 16. Divide both sides by negative 8. And I have x equals 2. Write our answer. We know x is 2, and it's x comma y. So I have 2 comma negative 1 as my solution. And we're going to do one last example together. Let's say I have 6x plus 2y equals negative 24. And we have 9x plus 9y equals 0. So 6x and 9x are inverses, and positive 2y and positive 9y are not inverses. So I need to do something to both equations this time, because I can't do something to 6 to make it cancel with 9. I can't do something with 2y to make it cancel with 9y. So I have to multiply both equations. So it doesn't, what I tend to do is I multiply this equation by this coefficient, and I multiply this equation by this coefficient if I wanted my x's to cancel. If you want your y's to cancel, you can multiply this equation by this coefficient, and you can multiply this equation by this coefficient. So let's say we want our y's to cancel. So since I want my y's to cancel, I'm going to multiply the first equation by 9, and I'm going to multiply the second equation by 2. But if we look, these are both positive. So 9 times 2y is 18, and 2 times 9y is also 18. We need to make one of these negative. It does not matter if you make the 9 a negative or the 2 a negative. Now we distribute. Negative 9 times 6x is 54, negative 54x. Negative 9 times positive 2y is negative 18y. And then 9 times 24, negative 9 times negative 24 is positive 216. We do the same thing here. Oops, I didn't put my arrows everywhere. 2 times 9x, 2 times 9y, and we do 2 times 0. 2 times 9x is 18x. 2 times 9y is positive 18y. And then 2 times 0 is 0. Now we have negative 18y and positive 18y can cancel. And then we have negative 54x. I'm going to add that to 18 because those are, this is positive, so we add. So that gives me 36x equals 216 plus 0 is 216. Divide both sides by 36, and we have x is positive 6. Oh, I'm sorry, this is supposed to be a negative 36 because negative 54x plus 18 gives me a negative 36. I'm sorry. So that's going to make this negative 6. So we know x is negative 6. So you can choose one of these two original equations, or you can choose one of these two edited equations. You're going to get the same answer. I like to choose one of these two equations because it's not going to be as large numbers. So I'm going to choose this bottom equation just because I like that there's 0 in it. So I have 9x plus 9y equals 0. And I know that x is negative 6. So I'm going to replace x. We're going to substitute x out of the game. And we are going to replace x with negative 6. And I'm going to bring everything else down. And now we solve. 9 times negative 6 is negative 54. Plus 9y equals 0. We're going to add 54 to both sides because that's negative 54. That's going to leave me with 9y equals positive 54 because 0 plus 54 is 54. Divide everything by 9. And that's going to give me x is positive 6. We write our answer as x comma y, which is 6 comma, negative 6. This should be y. Negative 6 comma